Hello again, everyone. We're going to move on with the next part of looking for information for your assignment. So I know that part of this assignment includes looking up a mass shooting that has occurred, and that you will be talking about the role of mental health or mental illness with regard to mass shootings. So one of the things that I thought would be useful would be to find some of those original newspaper articles that were published right after a shooting happened. Now, I know that your assignment does not include you going into depth about the shooting itself, but that you will be focusing on the mental health side or the mental illness side of it. So I don't want us to get too tied up in looking for statistics or information about the shooting itself, but I think it would be a good idea if you're going to talk about a mass shooting that you at least have a little bit of background information about it. So there are a couple of different ways that we can go about this. Now, of course, you can do a Google search on your own to find information out about a shooting, but we also have several newspaper databases that would be useful to you. So in order to get to those, you can go right here to the red button that says Browse Databases. And from here, you can see again, we have our list of databases that you have access to. Now, if you go to where it says all database types and choose newspapers and magazines, you'll then get a shorter list of the different newspaper databases that we have access to. Now, some of these will be more useful than others. A couple of good ones would be, especially with controversial issues, would be CQ Researcher, but I believe that Newspaper Source Plus is a good place to go to, as well as ProQuest News and Newspapers. Sorry, all if you can hear me yawning on this. Then there's also the US News Stream. So for our purposes tonight, we're going to start with ProQuest News and Newspapers. So just click on the link. And again, if you are signing in for the first time and you are off campus, you'll probably be prompted to sign in. So again, that's your NG ID number and your GoCSN or MyCSN password. Okay, so now we're in the News and Newspapers database, and we can start to enter our search terms. So if I put in mass shootings and mental health, you could put mental illness too. Let's see what we come up with. So we have 45,000 results. That is a lot of results, right? So one of the ways that we can narrow our results down is actually by putting in some quotation marks around the term mass shootings and around the term mental health. Now, the reason why we do that is this will kind of pull together these two words. It'll squeeze them together as though it were one word. So let's modify this search. See if we get any less. So now we have almost 17,000, which is still quite a bit, but it's not as many as we had before, right? Okay, so from here, we can start to narrow our results down. One of the things that we can do here is limit it to full text, which means that all of the results that we get, you will be able to read the entire article. Now, we may also want to narrow our sources down by type. So let's say that I just wanted to look at newspapers. I'm going to click on include. If you click on include, that doesn't mean that you have to click on exclude anything else. So we'll do apply. And so again, you can see our numbers are going down. We can also look at limiting our date range. So currently with this search, our results go back to 1987. Now, that might be something that you want to look at, but I think it might be more useful to look at the mass shootings that have happened more recently. So, if you wanted to go back only 10 years, you could. which you can move this slider tool along, or you can just enter a date range. Just make sure you press update. And as you can see, when we were looking before, it looked like there are quite a few more articles on mass shootings within the past 10 years than there were in the past 30 or 40 years. Okay. So you can also narrow your search down further by looking at subject areas. But for right now, I'm just going to look at our results that we have here. So just to let you know what we see when we're looking at this, we've got mass shootings and mental health care law. That's the title. The author is anonymous, but this is coming from the Wall Street Journal, Eastern Edition, and it was published in October 2015. So another example is we have this article, Discussions After Mass Shootings Need to Better Address the Issue of Mental Illness. And then it just repeats itself. But you have your author right here, Brianna Ellison, and this is from The Breeze. That's the name of the publication. So you kind of get what you kind of get as you go along. Okay, so let's look at we'll look at number 9. Experts say mental health reform isn't the key to preventing mass shootings. We have our author right here. It's from Arizona Republic, and it was published in May of 2016. So if you click on the title, now from here, I would click on hide highlighting. This is just a personal preference of mine. Seeing the highlighting is a little annoying to me. Okay, so we have the article here. And if you scroll down, this is actually quite a long article for it being a newspaper article. Most newspaper articles are not this long, but this was the one that we clicked on. So we have our information here, but we also have some related items. So we may find that there are other articles that would be useful to us based on this article that we're reading. Now, I don't think that this is an article that would be part of your required articles, because I believe you're supposed to have some scholarly articles, and we'll look at that in just a minute. This is merely for you to get a good idea about what happened when a shooting occurred and how the newspapers were reporting it. That does, however, mean that you do still need to cite it. So if you click over here where it says cite, you can change it to, I believe the default is APA. But if it's not, you can choose it from the pull-down menu, and then you can just copy and paste your citation here and put it in a Word document or a Google Doc. And that's pretty much it as far as the citation goes. Of course, you'll need to review it, make sure that it's correct, but that's how you would go about finding a newspaper article about a specific mass shooting.